Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tim, and this week we're looking at a delightfully old-school, fast-paced roguelike shooter by the name of Tower of Guns. In this game, there will always be three constants. There will always be you, there will always be a tower, and there will always be guns. Lots of them. Guns that shoot bullets, guns that shoot saw blades, guns that shoot plasma bolts, guns that shoot fire and rockets and shrapnel, and guns that are upgradable, guns that shoot at you, and guns that shoot for you. But what makes this game old school, you might ask? Well, curious stranger, I would reply, this game is very much akin to classic shooters such as Unreal and Painkiller and Serious Sam, where there's no need for a sprint function because you already move way too fast, and you don't have to worry about reloading or ammo limits or the number of guns you're carrying. It harkens back to the days of non-regenerating health, and circle strafing, and bunny hopping, and all the classic techniques that were phased out when games like Halo came along and kinda ruined it for the rest of us. Okay, it's got the rules covered, sure you might say, but what does it have for the moves? How does the game actually even work? You begin by picking a starting gun and perk from the rather meager list available to you from the start, and you're then spawned into the foyer stage, where, depending on whether you've turned the story on or off, a bit of dialogue will play, giving you some kind of context to what's exactly going on here. You take off at a pace that already seems slightly too quick, viciously slaughtering everything in your path, including the cute little hug bots that give you a bit of XP and health to start you off, gaining items and experience, stat boost badges, and new weapons as you go. You run from room to room, dealing with waves of enemies and turrets as they spawn, jumping around using classic first-person shooter tactics and maneuvers to survive, searching frantically for the door to the next room, because ultimately that is your goal, to survive. You don't have to kill every enemy in the room, but you never know which one might have that critical piece that will help you get through the rest of the game easier. After a few rooms like this, you'll find the boss door, and behind it will be a version of a number of bosses available for the game to throw at you. More hug bots, maybe an upgrade or two, and on we go to the next stage. The mother brain is at the top if you're playing in story mode, and you have to get there as quick as possible and kill it to win the day. But don't mistake this game for a simple pond you can skip your way through. As you get to the harder levels, if you didn't take the time to explore and find the money, hidden item purchasing, upgrade capsules, and the multitude of hidden secret areas littered throughout the maps, you'll find yourself powerfully underleveled when it comes time to face some of the later rooms, much less the giant bosses. The actual story it gives you is randomized each time you respawn, and it has just enough variations in it to keep you curious as to what it'll be next time. They're very well written and all basically have the same mission in one form or another: get to the top. But whether you're a super canine secret agent, a master thief, or just an old lady trying to do her recycling, you'll find yourself inexplicably driven forward just to find out what the next bit of dialogue is. And you can turn the story mode off, independently of the endless mode controls I might add, if you just want it out of the way. Of course, you're not limited to the guns that are only available to you from the start. There are 8 other guns up for grabs somewhere in the game, as well as a number of mods for each gun, giving you a total of over 200 different kinds of guns at your disposal. Some mods are better than others, depending on the weapon you're carrying at the time. Mods like the Fire Mine and TNT can make shots from an already self-damaging gun even more devastating, but when applied correctly can mean the difference between an easy run and instant death. There are also a ton of items to find littered around. Some grant flight-type powers, some are directed attacks, some give you buffs, and some regain your health. And yes, there's even a big red button that murders everything on the screen. But they all require a bit of trial and error to find out what they do, as you won't find nary a description anywhere in the game for them. That being said, exactly how you get to the top is mostly up to you. So let's take a look at some of the different tactics you can try and take, based on the weapons and perks available to you from the start. Each starting weapon has some sort of innate advantage. The saw blade launcher bounces without the need for the mod, Egon's Delight fires incredibly quickly, and the cluster launcher has a nice spread once it's been upgraded a few times. But each also have a unique feel to go along with them. The weapons you can damage yourself with might force you to take the no self-damage perk if you like them enough, which removes the triple jump perk, which is the one I use most often, making it less easier to jump around quickly and run and gun. So you might look for more armor pickups or more speed pickups or something like that depending on your playstyle. Alternately, you can use the Mini Hadron Collider gun and keep enemies at bay with slowing attacks, while enhancing your own jumps and speeds to ludicrous levels. The game offers you just enough flexibility in the opening choices that they actually do kind of matter. And so, as you've seen, the graphical style is also very unique and varied from one stage to another. The beginning stages have your usual industrial settings, but in the gearworks and the foundry and later the logistics stage and even the final level, you'll find environments appropriate to how far you've gone. And at the end of each stage is a recap of how well you did, your time, the par time, and a breakdown of your secret percentages from this level compared to the whole. And when you die, or if you win, you'll get an even more in-depth recap of every badge you collected, all the perks and weapons and mods, as well as all the stats that are kept track of during the game. Magnet size, armor, jump height, crit factor, item charge rate, even luck. All of these things are recorded and measured and go into how difficult the rest of the rooms for the rest of the stages will be. Oh, and you know what else makes the game more difficult? Every time you slaughter one of those innocent little hug bots, you monster. And there are a ton of times where the game kind of breaks the fourth wall for you to let you in on a few secrets, including an entire storyline comprised of the two brothers who made the games conversing with each other about said development. All in all, you're left with a fantastically put together game that is a lot of fun to pick up and play a few lives through. Getting through all the stages to the boss will take you around 30 to 40 minutes in story mode, and endless mode is, well, endless. The only thing I would say this game is missing is some sort of multiplayer component. I hate to even bring that up. Even if it were just the endless room after room model, it would be so much fun to strategize and distract turrets for a buddy who's up in a roost murdering things and things of that nature. Yes, balancing the difficulty would be a task, but I feel as much as this game takes into account, reworking the formula for another player might just be worth the effort. That being said, it's a very small nitpick from a game that's made by two people who basically have written a love letter to every old school shooter. And as a huge fan of those kind of games, I just want to take a moment to say, Terrible Posture Games, thank you so much. Pick this game up. Support these guys and what they're doing. And who knows, if this game does well, we might just see the resurgence of the classic style shooter. And wouldn't that be a blast? It's available on Steam for $14.99, and you'll find all the relevant linkages down below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and as always, we'll see you next time.